welcome to my YouTube channel. That's it. So as you know, a 7-person has come forward and is doing a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, and she's not Jane Doe. She's not trying to be anonymous. She actually states her name, Ashley Parham. She's the one who is doing a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, allegedly saying that she was victimized by him, gang rape by him, and other of Sean Diddy's goons as well. And I have to say, reading the 62-page document, it is very graphic. It's just very dark. And I read other lawsuits that's currently happening and pending right now with Sean Diddy Combs, except for that Cassidy, hers is her case got settled, but there's other cases that's still pending, and I read all of them, but this is the darkest one. It is so dark and so heavy, and it's just terrible. Like I had to stop. I literally had to stop for a little bit and take a step back before I continue reading it, because this was just so sad and heartbreaking, and I just felt bad for this woman who went through this. It's just terrible, and I never met her, and I never heard of her name before, but I believe her. Reading this, I believe her that this happened to her, and my heart goes out to her. She's the most bravest woman I ever met. One, by stating her name, not hiding it, to talking about it and letting the whole world know what happened to her. And I'm glad that she's not being afraid, because I know she probably was. I'm not in her head, but I know in that state of mind that she was afraid and she didn't want to do it properly, but she had enough guts and courage to do this and to do a lawsuit and tell her side of the story and tell her truth. So I commend her for that, because I know it's not easy to do that, especially this horrific thing that has happened to her. And I'm going to read some of the allegations that she has stated that Sean Diddy Combs and other people have done to her. I just want to warn you, this is not for children to watch, because this document is very graphic. There's sexual nature in this. It's just trigger warning. So I'm warning you right now. Children should not be watching this. This just should be adults watching this while I'm reading the lawsuit that Ashley has filed against Sean Diddy Combs. And I'm going to name the plaintiff, defendants that Ashley is suing. Obviously, Sean Diddy Combs, aka P. Diddy, Love, Puff Daddy, whatever he's calling his name these days. His assistant, Christian Kamora, as KK, and that's what I'm going to be referenced to in this lawsuit, KK. And if anyone don't know this is Sean Diddy's assistant, right-hand woman that's seen and done everything for Sean Diddy Combs, and I hope she gets prosecuted too. I really do, because she's involved in this. She knew what was going on, and she should be prosecuted to the T. Sean Pierce, John Doe's 1 through 3, and Jane Doe. So here we go. Bear patient with me. It's 62 pages. I am not going to read all of them, but I am going to read factual allegations common to all counts, what Ashley has stated has happened to her. So here we go. The plaintiff met the defendant, Sean, in February 2018 after altercation with another man at the bar. Defendant Shane came to the plaintiff rescue. Plaintiff Shane FaceTime video called defendant, Diddy was showing people defendant Diddy and the video on his phone, attempting to impress the people with his famous friend. Plaintiff is Ashley, just to let you guys know, ignored and stated she was not impressed by him knowing the defendant Diddy, because she believed the defendant Diddy had something to do with the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Defendant Diddy heard the plaintiff's statement and made a remark that plaintiff would pay for her statements regarding Tupac and overall dismissal of defendant Diddy, pardon me. On March 23, 2018, defendant Shane invited the plaintiff over to his house to assist him with his cancer medications because he stated he was weak and unable to open his medication. Plaintiff and defendant Shane then began to watch a movie, and the defendant Shane offered her a glass of water, which he retrieved and brought back to the plaintiff. Approximately 10 minutes after the plaintiff and defendant Shane returned from their drive, defendant Diddy entered defendant Shane's residence. Along with defendant Diddy, with his bodyguards, defendant Doe 1, a woman who the plaintiff later identified as KK, another woman, small, skinny built, early 30s with blonde mid-length hair, to plaintiff, who still been unable to identify, Jane Doe. Defendant Doe 2 was upon information and believed is a friend of the defendants, Shane and Diddy, and the defendant Diddy driver Doe 3, who remained outside in his vehicle during the duration of the plaintiff's assault. Plaintiff believes the defendant Shane invited her over to set her up to be assaulted by defendant Diddy because of the statement she made about defendant Diddy a month prior. Upon defendant Diddy arrived, he immediately began to antagonize the plaintiff and stating that she thought he would never see him in person, paid for her statements about Tupac during the video call, and the defendant Diddy caught plaintiff. The defendant Diddy then began advances towards where plaintiff was sitting on defendant Shane's bed with a knife and held it to the right side of the plaintiff's face and threatened to give her beep smile for previous statements on the video call. Defendant KK told defendant Diddy that she did not think giving the plaintiff beep smile would be adversaries to their potential clients who they would sell plaintiff for sex. Defendant KK made a threat to the plaintiff that they could ship her off anywhere in the world and she would never see her family or anyone she knew again. The defendant Shane then partially undressed plaintiff, then defendant Diddy removed the remainder of plaintiff's clothes, removing the knife from her face, and then retrieved a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack. Defendant Diddy then squirted a bottle of liquid on a plaintiff, which placed her fear that she was being squirted with a chemical substance like acid. The plaintiff soon realized the substance was an oil/lubricant. Plaintiff was squirted with this liquid substance over the entire of her naked body. Plaintiff KK was then told by defendant Diddy to insert what looks like a syringe from a syringe packaging into the plaintiff's vagina. Defendant KK did as told, and then told defendant Diddy that she was unable to use the IUD. Now, anyone who don't know what IUD is a birth control that's inserted in your vagina. Because it had premature been released from its packaging, defendant Diddy, upset by this, and took the syringe from defendant KK and tried to insert it into the plaintiff vagina instead. Defendant KK and Diddy began to argue as the defendant KK continued to advise defendant Diddy that since the IUD has been permanently released from its packaging, and there was no way they could insert it into the plaintiff, effectively. After some time, the defendant Diddy yelled at that advice of defendant KK and removed the syringe from the plaintiff, and handed it to defendant KK. Defendant KK and Jane Doe then exited defendant Shane's residence, leaving the plaintiff alone with defendant Diddy. Shane and Doe 1 and 2. Defendant Diddy then picked up a television remote that was near plaintiff and sorry, violently inserted into the plaintiff, you know what? Defendant Diddy, while violently raping plaintiff with a television remote, told the plaintiff that her life was in his hands and that if he wanted, he could take her and then she would never be seen again. Plaintiff began hysterically crying from the threats by defendant Diddy, along with the pain of being violently raped by the defendant Diddy with the television remote, as well as the lingering pain from the ordeal with the IUD syringe insertion. Plaintiff Diddy then instructed plaintiff Shane to turn plaintiff on her stomach, extremely tired of hearing the plaintiff blood-curdling cries. Plaintiff Shane then grabbed, defendant Shane then grabbed plaintiff by her abdominal and hips and turned plaintiff on her stomach. Defendant Diddy then instructed defendant Shane to put a pillow over her head because he didn't want to see her face or hear her cries, and instruct defendant Shane to beep, rape plaintiff. Defendant Shane did as he was told by defendant Diddy and began to beep, rape the plaintiff. Defendant Diddy then violently raped plaintiff, beep after defendant Shane. Defendant Doe 2 then joined defendants Diddy and Shane, taking a turn of beep raping the plaintiff. Immediately after the defendant Doe 2 raped the plaintiff, he exited the plaintiff Shane's residence. Defendant Diddy then instructed the defendant Doe 1 to also rape plaintiff. Instead of immediately raping the plaintiff, defendant Doe 1 drowned plaintiff with more oil and lubricant and then jumped on top of the plaintiff naked and oil body, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff during his large size. Defendant Doe then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oil body and off the bed. He then began raping the plaintiff vaginally. While plaintiff Doe 1 was raping the plaintiff, defendant Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began masturbating while recording the plaintiff rape by defendant Doe 1. Another party phone fell on the bed near the plaintiff. The plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil and lubricant that had been drowned all over her person by defendant Diddy and Doe 1. Defendant Diddy began laughing at the plaintiff attempting to grab the phone. Throughout the violent gang-banging style rape, defendant Diddy made a constant belittle remarks to the defendant, including that he owned her now. Defendant's body was becoming more and more limp over the course of the violent rape until eventually she had no control over her body, nor could she move her body. When the defendant Doe 1 finished raping defendant KK entered the room, examined the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely unable to move or control her bodily functions. Defendant KK examined the plaintiff to see if she needed assistance and was about to give the plaintiff an IV fluid. Plaintiff cannot be certain if she did or did not receive such intravenous intervention. Defendant KK then opened a different bag, different than one defendant Diddy removed the oil from, where the plaintiff observed several medicine bottles, IV fluid bags, and other unidentified powder-like drug. Defendant KK then removed a pill from one of the medicine bottle and gave it to the defendant Diddy. Defendant Diddy then inserted the pill into the plaintiff's mouth and down her throat, where the plaintiff had no choice but to inject the unknown pill. Defendant Diddy, Shane, KK, and Doe 1 then exit the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. Plaintiff remained in almost lifeless state. Defendant Shane bedroom until she finally regained her body functions. Plaintiff then began to looking for her clothes and her purse that contains her car keys, her cell phone, but could not discover them in the room or anywhere in the apartment. Plaintiff was only able to find a t-shirt on the floor which she put on to cover her naked body. Plaintiff also observed a black condom wrapper on the floor of the bedroom, which she assumed was used by one of the plaintiffs and mostly likely Plaintiff Diddy during the rape. Plaintiff then grabbed a knife from the kitchen and headed to the backyard where the defendants were smoking as that was the only way to exit the premises onto the street. Plaintiff concealed the knife on her left side as she exited the apartment to the backyard area. Plaintiff became enraged and yelled at the defendant Diddy that her rape was not consensual. She was not a sex worker, and she refused to take any money from him and would tell the police that he had raped her. Defendant Diddy then told the plaintiff, "No one would believe you. She had been raped by him, and if she did tell anyone such that, they would harm her family." Defendant Doe 1 then showed plaintiff his phone, which looked as if it was the outside of the plaintiff's estranged sister residence, as he could see her sister sitting on the couch and her sister spouse on the balcony. It looked as if someone was outside the residence streaming this video to defendant Doe 1 phone. Defendant Diddy then called his mother in an effort to further convince the plaintiff not to report her assault. Defendant Diddy's mom yelled at the plaintiff to not hurt her son. Plaintiff told the defendant Diddy's mom that her son had violently raped defendant. Defendant Diddy's mom extremely unfazed by the statement and then continued her demands with the plaintiff to take the money being offered and not report the rape to law enforcement. Isn't that ridiculous? Ridiculous. So the mom knew, and she said nothing. Continuing, defendant Diddy then made further threats that he had gotten off from bigger crimes than this, referring to Pac again, further antagonizing plaintiff. Plaintiff then pushed defendant Diddy from behind while on the stone stairs outside, causing him to fall with his back to plaintiff. Plaintiff then raises the knife in a rage from the events, and then transparent with the intent of driving the knife into defendant Diddy's back. When he turned around and began pleading for his life. Defendant shocked now to see defendant Diddy acting as a victim at a moment of clarity, then turned and ran down the outside door stone staircase, backed out to the backyard to escape. Defendant Diddy then chased defendant down the stairs and attempted to push her, but she was already at the bottom of the stairs and gained her footing and wedged the knife at the defendant's Diddy, glazing his abdomen. So this is just crazy, this whole lawsuit. And again, you can read the entirety on your own. It's 62 pages, and this is dark. This is completely dark, and I really feel bad for this woman. I believe her that this situation happened. Again, it's he said, she said. And after reading all the other lawsuits and allegations against Sean Diddy Combs, who could not believe this woman? Who could not believe Ashley, what happened to her? Like, this is just incredible. This is just details after details of the assault that happened to her. And who would think that it didn't happen to her? It's just crazy. And I have no words. I'm totally disgusted by this whole situation. I'm disgusted at the people that were involved and said nothing, did nothing, just went along with it because Sean Diddy Combs is powerful. He has money. They were afraid. They violated another human being and they went along with it and said nothing and did nothing because of one particular man, because of Sean Diddy Combs, because of his arrogance, because Ashley made a comment and said that she believed that Sean Diddy Combs has something to do with Tupac's death, and then you just want to take, what is that word, retaliation against her and just teach her a lesson because she had an opinion, because she made a comment? Like, who does that? A lot of people have a comment about a lot of different things, but you don't see people go out there and try to harm someone because they have a comment, because they have an opinion, because you didn't like what she said and then you made it upon yourself to do what you did towards her. And then her friend Shane, like, how dare he set her up. He set her up and then allowed this to happen. He didn't give her no forewarning or anything. He could have easily lied to Sean Diddy Combs, said, oh, I couldn't get a hold of her. You know, she's not answering her phone. If he knew what he was capable of, Sean Diddy Combs, why you didn't protect her? Why you went along with it? For what? What did you gain out of it? Did he pay you? Like, you violated someone else's body without their consent. Like, you are disgusting and you should be punished. You should be punished. All of them should. For you to do that to your friend. And then the person that you protected at the bar, that makes no sense to me. Like, this Sean Pierce, he's unhinged. He is crazy. He is deranged. For you to do that, that makes no sense. Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't make sense that you would set a woman up like that. That you couldn't easily lie to Diddy and say, oh, I couldn't get a hold of my friend. She's not answering her phone. You chose not to protect her. You chose to engage in this acting violence, rape towards her for no apparent reason, because she made one comment, because she had an opinion about something, and then your buddy didn't like it. Like, are you insane? I hope that justice is served for all of them, especially Shane, pardon me. I hope they throw the book at him and he's locked up for life, because what he did was unspeakable. What he did setting her up is just crazy. Like, I'm Christian. I don't know if I can forgive someone like that, who can set me up like that, and for me to get gang raped by multiple people, and you're supposed to be my friend? That's not a friend. That's not a friend at all. That's completely cruel, selfish, demonic hatred. You really hated that girl for you to go along with it, that you didn't have enough balls to stand up to Sean Diddy Combs and say, no, I'm not going to do this. I am not going to entertain this. I guess, having money, love, and respect is more important than, having someone's back and protecting them. I guess not having, dignity, not having moral values. I guess people don't care about that anymore. They just care about just, making someone else, impressing that person. So it was hard for me to do this. I did not want to do this video because it was just so dark and so heavy, but I needed to do this because more women and men need to come out and share their stories and absolutely do this lawsuit, because Sean Diddy needs to go down, and the rest of the conspirators who's involved in this needs to go down too, because if things are not going to change and people are not going to take accountability for this, it's just going to keep on happening. There's going to be another Diddy. There's going to be another Jeffrey Epstein. There's going to be another so-and-so, unless these people and all of us take a stand and say enough is enough, and these people need to be held accountable and go to prison for the rest of their days and not see the light at all. And it's just incredible. And I just pray that more people will come forward, more people will tell their stories. And for me, it's hard for me to believe that this is all a lie. It's hard to believe that this is all a lie, that this woman actually made it up. I cannot fathom that that's a lie. I believe her. I believe what happened to her was true. Whether it's her word against his, obviously he recorded it, so there must be proof because he recorded it while he was masturbating. It said it right there. So obviously the tape is out there. So if the tape is out there, then there's proof of it. We just have to find the tape. So hopefully the FBI have the tape of this incident that happened, or someone else. And I just pray that it gets exposed, and I pray that everything goes down to hell. I really do, because things are in the dark are coming to the light. And people love to be in the dark. People love to be in the dark and not have people see what they do in closed doors. But when you do some evil acts to people, it's going to come out. Plain and simple. It's going to come out. The truth is going to come out. So let all the far left say that it's crazy, it's not a lie, it's true, we need to gather evidence. Evidence is coming. You mark my words. I believe it. Every fiber of my being, the truth is going to come out either way. Videos are going to come out. People are going to come out. Things are going to be exposed that's going to shock the world. Okay? I'm not even saying Hollywood, the world. Okay? People are going to get prosecuted. People are going to jail, period. Okay? I don't care if some people made settlements against the plaintiffs. I don't care about that. Because you know why? Because the truth will come out. Whether you pay some of these people off, the victims, the truth will come out, and then they will go to jail. All of them are going to jail. Whoever was involved in the rape, the freak-out parties, the drug trafficking, the prostitution, everything is coming out. Everything. And I pray that no law is not favoritism of anyone who's involved. Everyone should be punished. Everyone should be prosecuted and go to jail. Period. Point blank, period. That's it. That's it. That is it. You understand? Everyone should go to jail. Everyone should take accountability. And that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what you think about this video. Again, this is not for children to watch because this document is very graphic, very sexual details in this. So I advise you to print this out. It's 62 pages. Read it. Read the whole lawsuit entirely. I did, and I'm just still like shaking in my boots. It's just very, very dark, very disturbing. And again, I commend Ashley for stepping forward and telling her her story. And we need more women like that, not to be afraid and stand up to Sean Diddy Combs and other people that's involved. Because like I said in my other videos, no one is above the law. Sean Diddy Combs and his group, they're just man. That's it. And we all need to stand up and not be afraid of these people because they feel like they have all the power. They feel like they have the power. They don't have the power. You got to take your power back and take your power back and let them know that you're not afraid anymore. And you're not going to listen to anyone who try to threaten you, your family, none of that stuff. Because you know why? Because God got you. God is protecting you. Point blank, period. So let's pause on that. Take your power away from them. Because when you take the power from them and you get your power back, they can't do anything. And when God is on your side to protecting you, who can stop it? Not them, not their co-conspirators, not anyone. Because you got God, you got your family, you got your attorneys who have your back. You got the media, the good ones who really wants to support you and tell your side of the story and not go from the far right and make up things. So there are some good medias out there, not all of them, majority of them. So just remember that and not be afraid and not get discouraged to stand up to these bullies, because that's what they are. They're bullies. They bully these people and trying to threaten them and pay them off and wants to own them. No, no one doesn't own anyone. Okay, we are not enslaved anymore. Okay, that had been done a long time ago before we were even born. Slavery is over. Sean Diddy Combs and his goons are no longer slaves to anyone. None of their victims, period. That's going to stop, and that has been stopping, okay? Because now he is locked up in jail until his trial starts next year, okay? Enough is enough for him trying to enslave people and blackmailing people and making them feel like they did something wrong when they absolutely did nothing wrong, because they did not consent to none of this stuff. They were being forced and blackmailed. And I'm done. And people are done. Enough is enough. So thank you so much again for watching. Let me know what you think about this video and comment below. And again, I'm going to stay tuned with this whole Diddy freak off nonsense thing, and more stuff is going to come out. And when they do, I definitely not going to be surprised. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.